Welcome back, everybody. I am very proud and very happy and very giddy, apparently, to welcome to the program one of my friends, somebody who is a wonderful producer, director, writer, and actor, somebody who I had the pleasure of working with on his set, so now he is on mine. Welcome to the program, Will Adams.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's my sincere pleasure, and I really love the way you write. I love your stuff. It's a interesting way of looking at ordinary and sometimes extraordinary situations. So I'm really excited that you had a chance to come by, so I can ask you a lot of the questions that I've been meaning to ask you, but certainly not time to do that on set or when you're busy doing your usual thing, which is writing.
Yeah, yeah. Writing is it's not a challenge for me. It's more of I know I can do it, and I don't have I never get writer's block. So I and when I sit down and do it, I get frustrated when people interrupt me because my thoughts start pouring out, and when they start pouring out, it's like if somebody interrupts that train of thought, now I have to stop and have to jump back into that same groove again because that first groove is different from the second groove. Now, if I lose all the work completely, which I've done before, I can rewrite it, and it might be better when I rewrite it the second time, but the first time, I'm trying to get it out of my head.
I'm with you. When I'm doing my poetry, if I start doing it in the shower, it all flows. It's great, and then I'm trying to remember the damn thing when I get to my desk so
Yeah,
I can write it down, and a
yeah,
lot of it is lost. So yeah,
yeah.
I get it. And now I feel even worse because I'm one of those people that probably interrupts your train of thought with my question. So sorry about that.
No, you actually give good questions. Um, just jumping into Plight right away. When you asked me about you asked me about the character you asked me about the character was playing. So
Yeah.
I misunderstood and I thought you were asking me about the character you were playing. I was like, well, you got coming for an audition. But no, I understand that. I'm talking about in the dialogue that you wrote. And I was like, oh. And then it just made me pour out everything that I knew about this ain't Pulp Fiction that I've never shared with anybody before.
I know, and I'm very thankful for that. And by the way, guys, what we're referencing is I don't know what the episode number of the second season of Plight that I'm on, but it's going to be
11.
coming out in a few weeks, so you'll be able to see when it does.
Yes, it's 11. Plight is episode 11, and you executed that particular piece of work exactly how I envisioned it. Like for me, this is the first time I've ever seen anybody really take my work and push it out word for word verbatim, opposed to changing, and ad libbing or whatever. But you killed it. I was like, wow. I said I wrote some powerful stuff.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It was a good scene, and thank you so much for saying that. I really do appreciate it. Um, it kind of brings up my own my own issues of being able to accept that I am a good actor and being able to accept praise. So thank you for
You are
having
a
me.
great actor, right?
Yeah,
You are a great actor.
thank you, thank
I've seen some of your work before that, and I was like, wow, and that's why I said I thought you would execute that particular part well, and then when you did it, everybody on set was like, wow, we were supposed to be acting like we were impressed, but we were impressed.
you. That's very kind of you. And you did put pressure on me because when we were talking prior to it, you said, "Well, listen, if you do as good as I've seen you do on this one," I'm like, "Oh, great. All right, fine. Well, let's go." No, that's very kind. But it was a really interesting thing to play. I'm not going to give anything away, but you did mention that I was a character playing another character, so there were a couple of things from an acting perspective that I found very unique of being able to be in one character immediately snap into something else and then come right back. So and
Right.
those two guys are a little different. So it was a very interesting challenge.
But you accepted the challenge and you conquered it.
Thank you.
Like it was uh, me and my partner, we still talk about it. We still talk like what my friend said, "What?" He had me like, "Wow!" And I was like, he had my mouth open like, "Huh." And the only problem was we didn't have a camera shooting and catching our expression, which was supposed to be the thing. I was gonna have another camera shooting us look like wow, but I forgot because you killed it so hard.
No, that's very kind of you. Is that are you referencing Lawrence at the moment?
Yes, yes, Lawrence. Yes, yes. I'm referencing Lawrence because we talked. We actually talked Tuesday, and when on Tuesday we talked about it, and you're like, yeah, man, because I told you about the. Remember I told you about the thing I was gonna write for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was explaining to him about it, and then he was like, man, he's dope. He's cold. I was like, man, he's. I said it to you. I said it to him. I said I've never heard anybody I don't, not even myself, push out the lines as I saw them when I wrote them.
Wow.
So
Well, I'm gonna take it as a little bit of luck and a little bit of talent. So
that's just great talent. That's all I can say.
thank you. So let's actually jump into Lawrence for a second because you confused the hell out of me and everybody else with you changing names around. The character that you're playing in Plight, your name is Will, obviously. The character that you're playing is Jeff. Lawrence, who is your writing partner, he's playing the character of Will.
Correct.
So unless people know what's going on, they're gonna get lost, and when they see you on set, start calling you by different names. So
Well,
were you doing this on purpose? What was the point there?
so Plight was created and it was created in my head around 2014. So
Okay.
I made a movie called Sex Ain't Love. So when I
Right.
was making a movie called Sex Ain't Love, I was having all these difficulties on set when I was shooting. So what I would do is when I post something on Facebook, I would hashtag Sex Ain't Love, hashtag Plight of the Independent Filmmaker, because I always say this is the plight of independent filmmaker. Every time a problem arises, it was a plight of independent filmmaker. And I
Yeah.
started thinking it would be cool to have a movie or a series that just exemplifies all of those different problems. And more than likely, it's going to be funny because right now it's not funny, but later on everything gets funny because if you're able to see the episode 4 of season 1
Yeah.
of Plight with Casey in it,
Yeah.
um, that episode happens is that actually happened in Sex and Love, but that episode is just an exaggerated version of
That's awesome.
it. Very, very exaggerated version of what happened in Sex and Love. And yeah, so when I say plight of independent filmmaker, it's the plight of the independent filmmaker. You see all these different problems, and you run into all these different issues, and it's not just on set, but it's personal life. Trying to figure out where you're going to shoot, trying to figure out who's going to be in your next production, trying to release stress by hanging out, trying to matter of fact, Jeff goes on a date in episode 11 of season 1, and he thinks he's on a date, but that's not what the woman thinks. She thinks it's an audition. So everything gets confused because you are on this road to try to make your dream bigger than they are, and
Yeah.
you keep running into all these roadblocks. But see, I didn't want it to be a show where you see failure a lot. I want it to be failure, success, failure, success, failure, 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 success, success, success. That
Yeah.
way, because that's how life works. Uh, it's regular sitcoms. If you think about Three's Company, Jack Tripper, he was going to succeed, but he failed, and he ended up staying with Chrissy and Janet.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be different because they say even a garbage can gets a steak every now and then.
That's true. I actually have not heard that one, but yes, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So going back to the name thing, did you and Will just decide to mess with people? You and Will. See, I'm doing that now. You and
Oh,
Lawrence
so
decide to mess with people?
no, no. So the reason why I named the characters that, so Jeff, I couldn't see Jeff being a George. So
Okay.
I got a right hand that's worked on most of my productions with me named George, but I can't see Jeff being George.
Right.
So I just I just made it Jeff instead of George. And Will is really basically my name, but I just switched the roles. And
Okay.
the Will character is not like the George character, but a very exaggerated version of the George character.
Okay.
And Jeff is not like Will. Like, I wish I was like Jeff. Jeff gets it in. He gets it in. You know, he has his wins. He has losses, but he has a lot of wins and some really nice wins. But you know, I felt like creating a character that's fun, a little agitated, not laid back, because he's always on the defensive, trying to make sure his dream is moving forward.
Yeah. That's very cool. And the whole, again, it's based on some things that have happened, and some other things are exaggerated, and some are not necessarily true. So the whole shooting porn part, was that exaggerated, true? Where does that fall?
That was a little bit exaggerated.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you, was it episode 3 of season 1?
Yeah.
That was spot on. Episode 5 of season 1 was spot on. And 5 is about Jeff going to a music producer that produces music to get him to create a score for one of his pieces. So when this happens, he goes to talk to this guy about creating a score, and of course the guy, he's a music producer, but he's a rap music producer. So only thing he knows is beats. And Jeff said, "So do you even know what a score is?" And yeah, I know what a score is. No, talking about yeah, you know what score? Yeah. Okay, but apparently he didn't. So let me jump into season 1 real quick.
Yeah.
So my thought process about season 1 was I wanted Plight, the word Plight, to exemplify the entire project, as far as the shooting, the lighting, the audio, not the acting, but everything else, so everybody can understand the struggle of the Plight. But then I got I don't want to say backlash, but I got criticism on, man, couldn't hear it. I didn't like the way it was shot. So I tightened it up on season 2 on purpose. So it was shot that way during season 1 on purpose, because I wanted people to feel the pain and the struggle of Plight through everything, even through visual, but some people didn't like it. So I upped it and made everything better on season 2.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw season 2.
I didn't. Yeah, I know that a couple. Actually, that's not true. I did see the first episode of season 2. I didn't see anything else after that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up. I saw episode 10 of season 2. That's also true, because I saw that one was Casey. No, Casey was not there. Casey was the director on that one.
Right.
And a few of my other
David and Randy were in it.
Yeah. And by the way, shout out to all of our guys watching, Casey, David, and my good Randy. Thank you, Randy Reynolds.
I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, he's going to be on the show, I think, next week or the week after.
Okay, cool.
So very nice.
Well, I called him back because I was writing episode 12. So I started writing episode 12, wrote the first scene. Then I thought I pushed them into the next location. So then I actually wrote David's and Randy's part together without even talking to them. So then I called them and I said, "Hey, got the part for you." They was like, "Oh, for sure. Yeah, thanks for considering me." I was like, "Yeah, thanks for saying yes, because I wrote it around you." So then I forgot to call Randy because I talked to David on Wednesday. So I called Randy yesterday. And Randy was like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, I'll do it." I'm like, I said, next time I should call before I actually start writing, because I wrote the scene out. It's a 4-page scene with both of them in it, and I didn't. When I wrote, I'm like, "It'd be perfect for it." And I said, now I just need to talk to them and ask them. But I'm just grateful that they said yes. I am.
They're really good guys. And again, going into the plight of the independent filmmaker, you're going to write something, you may not get the actors for it. That's right down the alley of what happens.
Yes. Even though I worked with them before, and
Right.
I can tell you, episode 10 was a very rough shoot. It was a rough shoot, and as you said, Casey was the director. I wasn't the shooter either. Somebody else was shooting. Chris was shooting.
Yep.
So that day, I was an executive producer because I said, "Oh, he's using that gaffer's tape like he paid for it." It's like, no, just know that just ripping gaffers. I was an executive producer. Like, we've been here an hour. We need to go. Let's go. Let's get this shot. Come on. So I was not a director. I was not a cameraman. I was not an actor. I was an executive producer. Let's get this going. Let's go. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, you got to wear all the hats, and I think you have worn all the hats throughout your production. So
Yes, I have. I can tell you, I've been an actor.
yep.
I've been camera.
Mhm.
I've been lighting. I'm always lighting.
Yeah.
I've been audio. I've always been gaffer. I've been crew to bring the equipment in and set it up. I've been a crew to break it down. I've been casting director. I've been producer. I've been exec. I've always been executive producer.
Yeah.
Caterer. So I've been everything.
Yeah. So if you, let's say, and again, I know you love doing your stuff, but let's say somebody calls you for an opportunity and says, okay, I have a big production coming up, pick a role. You can do anything you want. What would be the role that you would pick?
Probably direct.
Okay.
I would direct if they let me see the script first. Because of course I want to visualize and make sure I'm able to do it. But directing, I love directing. I love getting people to see things through the way I see them. Because if you watch television now, everybody, it's just the same thing over and over and over and over again, where there are no surprises. And talking to my 13-year-old daughter, we were talking. I can't remember what movie we were talking about, and she was like, "I don't really want to see that." And I was like, "Why?" I kind of wanted to see the movie, and I can't remember which movie it was because I didn't go see it. But she said, "Because you can tell what's going to happen at the end." And I said, I don't want to be that filmmaker. I don't want to be the filmmaker that puts something out and then is like, "Oh yeah, I know what's going to happen at the end. They're going to blow up the big old ship," and So the element of surprise is the best thing, because when people are surprised, they remember. When people can guess what's going to happen throughout the whole production or throughout the whole film, they tend to forget how much they liked it. They tend to forget how good the actors were. They just say, "Yeah, I knew it was going to happen." And if I'm sitting there watching a show or watching a movie and I can basically guess what's going to happen next, the first 3 times I do it, I stop watching because it's not worth my time. I know how it's going to end without even knowing the ending. So when she said that actually last year, and it has changed the way I view things, because at first you have one character that he's mad about something. All right, now this character, they get into it, and now okay, they gonna make up at the end. No, they don't make up. They stay a little mad. Let's see them work this out, and which is part of episode 1 in Plight. So
Yep.
the situation that happened at the end of, because that's an extension of what happened in Plight in the first season. And Plight in the first season, you see this whole situation come in front of everybody, because the viewers know what's going on. Only person that doesn't know what's going on is Jeff. So since Jeff doesn't know what's going on, he finds out. Now we come back. I want to address it. So when we address it, it's like, okay, well, I I I know what's happening, but I'm not your friend. I'm still not your friend. And
Right.
then it takes a situation that happens between both of them where they both reconnect in a certain way where it makes it comfortable to understand, all right, well, this is happening, but it's not worth losing our friendship over.
Yeah. And that's what I like about your writing. Again, it's in the episode that I'm in, episode 11, it's not straightforward. You're playing with different concepts, and you're kind of juxtapositioning a number of things, so you don't know where it's going to go. And the part that you were writing, as you mentioned for me, thank you again.
Mhm.
It's great, and it's not shying away from complexity, and it's not just straightforward. It deals with things, and it deals with reality, and I really like that
Yeah,
about.
and I was thinking the same thing. It's dealing with the reality of the
Yeah,
situation at hand, because
yeah,
everything is a situation. So when you think about dealing with the situation at hand, the way the television land, every happy ending, but that's not how life works. You know, you
no,
lose $500, you just lost $500. You don't
right.
find $500; it's just gone. You know, you might get an opportunity where you find $500 worth of food, but that $500 that you was gonna buy something specific with is gone.
Yeah,
So you know, hey, reality is people need that, and the reason why people need it because it's an escape because they see things every day that they can't change, and they need to feel like people understand and connect with what's going on with them because they say, "Wow, I'm not part of the show or I'm not this character, but I understand what he's going through.
yeah,
I understand what they see. I understand what they feel." So that's
yeah.
the focus of Plight, I guess.
I agree with you. And again, the mark of the best shows that I've watched is their unpredictability of it, is their willingness to deal with the complexity and not shy away from difficulty, and allow people to go on a ride thinking they know where they're going and saying no, they wouldn't do that because that's just hard to do. Then it wouldn't be popular, and they do it anyway. And that's the part that I really enjoy.
And then you're like, okay, I didn't expect that to happen. All
Yeah.
right. When stuff like that, I'm like, wow, that was a great movie. You know, like, whoa. Speaking of, I can tell you, Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
Um, it's a show that just started, and it starts off slow,
Hmm.
and it just once it kicks in, once it kicks in gear, all you see is the tires treading on the street. You're like, whoa, hold on, how? Okay, you know, and those are great shows. Those are great shows.
Yeah.
A long time ago, I saw Dust Till Dawn, and I did not know what it was about. Did you ever see Dust Till Dawn?
Nope.
It's Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney. They were
Oh,
bank
that's
robbers.
Busted Dawn. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what it was about. I just went to the movies with friends, and you know, I'm watching it and get halfway through. I'm like, because I don't want to give it away for anybody who hasn't seen it because it's a
Yeah,
really good movie. But
it's a really good movie.
I was like, how do I don't remember even turning down this block to get to this street. How did we get here?
Yep.
So, you know, it was a cool thing to see. It wasn't even a transition. I'd say that was a cut. That wasn't
Yeah.
a transition. It was just a cut. It wasn't a dissolve. It was nothing but a cut. Like from day to night. And here we are. I was like, oh, okay. And it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Quentin is something else. Yeah.
I'm not a
Very
horror fan,
cool.
but you
Huh?
know, I said I'm not a horror fan, but that movie right there was like, wow, you know, because and I think that particular film is one of the things that I always try to when I'm writing, I try to keep you driving, and you driving down the street. It's like, man, we're doing a comfortable 30 miles per hour, and then you hit a right turn real hard, and now we at 107. You're like, how do we do? You
Yep.
know, I don't. You know, and but you understand how we did it, but you can't believe
Yeah. No, it's
and
it's
that's the focus, and that's that's how I like writing.
yeah. And Quentin, again, I don't want to misquote him, but from what I understand, he said in terms of the beginning of the movie, for him, Django Unchained is not Django, excuse me. Although Django beginning was awesome as well. It was Inglorious Bastards. The beginning of that movie, I think that's his finest and kind of where he really gets to play and do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So
I was listening to an interview with him in it, and one of the things now I never say I'm inspired by anybody because when I write from my heart and I write what's up here. So
yeah,
I never say, well, I saw Quentin Tarantino do this or I saw Steven Spielberg do this. I never say that. because what I write is what I write. But listen to his interview, and he said that, you know, when he was younger, he wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
So now when I was young, I wanted to be a cameraman. I always liked to mess with the camera. So I always wanted to be a cameraman. So listen, and going forward with his interview, and fast forwarding anyway, he said that when he was on set, he learned that the actor, you know, they can be in a movie and people are like, oh, that's a terrible actor. Oh, that actor did horrible. But it's really the director who actually says, all right, take it. All right, cut. And the director is really the hero of the film. And I kind of taken that stance on everything where I want to. That's why when you ask me what would I want to do, direct. I want to be the hero. I want to say, all right, well, that guy made that movie great. Even if they say that the actors did really well, it's because of me. Because I said that was a good take, that was a bad take, that was an okay take. But for the most part, I wanted to be the hero of the production because I get a chance to say, all right, I don't have to be the person on the sidelines and say, oh, that was really bad. No, let's do it again. This time, put a little bit more emotion in it. Scream, if you will. You know, things like that. So that interview was a really good interview.
I agree with that. And I think what you hear from actors all the time is that, oh my God, I loved working with this director, and this director was excellent, and I felt really safe, and they allowed me to play, and they allowed me to really, get into it. So a director plays a huge and integral part in the actor's success in any film, well, film or anything on screen. Absolutely. So let's back up a little bit. I want to know again. You mentioned that you wanted to be a cameraman, but you went to Colombia, and what led you to Colombia? At what point did you know that, hey, this is something that I want to pursue?
I was in high school, and actually before high school, I don't remember. I don't know if you had HBO back in the day, but my grandparents did, and they had HBO behind the scenes that would come on at 11 o'clock on Saturdays. And everybody would go to sleep, and I would watch the previous HBO behind the scenes 11 o'clock. I was like, I'm tired, but I'm gonna stay up and watch. And I would watch behind the scenes where directors are communicating with actors, how the cameras are getting their shots. I mean, cameramen are getting their shots, which I didn't know it was cinematographers in, but I would watch all of that, watch the gaffers and the grips, help put the production together, and I was just in awe of that. So when I watched it, I was like, wow, because I felt like that was totally out of my reach. I would never ever be able to figure out how to get there. And one day I was in high school. It was at the end of the year, for freshman year. Television teacher came into the classroom by the name of Joan Baudouin. And when she came in the classroom, she pushed big box TV inside the classroom. And I'm sitting, and I'm just hating school because I'm a freshman in high school, really don't know anybody. I was just like, ugh. So she explains who she is, which I didn't hear anything. And then she said, all right, well, I'm about to turn the TV on. I said, oh, let's watch whatever boring History Channel thing she got going on. She turned it on, and it was a music video. And the music video showed all these different cuts, these different people doing dances. And it was just something I've never seen. It's something I've seen before on television. I'm like, oh, and I was like, man, I wonder what group that is. So then she brought these students in and said, these guys did this video. And I was like, wow. Seems like, well, so next year, sophomore year, you can sign up. And I just stood up. I want to sign up now. They said, please sit down, Mr. Adams. Next year, you can sign up for this class, and I'll be glad to take you if you're interested in television production. And that's how I got into it. And then she showed, I think it was more so the framing of shots that kept me involved, like his headroom, center frame, leeway, making sure medium. A lot of people don't know what a medium shot is. They cut people off at the knees. She always said that's uncomfortable. The viewer gets mad when you just see people's knees. So I always make sure they cut off at the waist. If I'm showing anything past the waist, I show their feet. So those things stuck with me forever. So and to this day, I still tell, I work with this one girl. She said, next time don't cut me off at the waist. I'm like, well, I have to because
Yeah.
aesthetically, that's how you're supposed to make a medium shot. He's like,
Yeah.
now cut me off at the knee. I said, I understand what you want to show, but I can cut you off at the feet and make, but it's too wide. I said, I can't do anything but what aesthetically. Talk to me. I can't, I know I can break the rules because I know them, but I don't want to break the rules because what you're trying to make me break the rules for doesn't make sense.
Right.
So that it started there. And then when I went to Colombia, I learned more. And I think I learned when I actually got a chance to direct, I kind of dipped my toe into it. I was still stuck on being camera. I love the camera. I love shooting. I love being able to show people what I see through the lens. And I think I worked on a set of a movie. I can't remember what movie it was. It was some big budget movie that was shot in Chicago. I was a grip, and I saw this guy. He was on this camera rig that was on the track, and it was automatic and it was rolling. I was like, wow, I wonder how you get that job. I was like, ooh. So then I got a call from the same guy that was shooting that particular film, and when he called me, he said, hey, can you work on this production with me? I was like, oh, for sure, I'll work on production with you because I guess I'll be a grip again because I know you're gonna have this old big production crew. I mean, it was a lot of people on this crew. So I got to this little small house. He had these long PVC pipes on the floor,
Mhm.
and some rig that he built as a track himself. It was a track that he built, and
Wow.
he used it to move it. It was just for a simple tracking shot going forward. That was it. It wasn't for anything else. It was for a simple tracking shot. I was like, that was it. I said, if he's doing this, I can write my own stuff. So,
Yeah.
because I found out I knew how to write when I got to college. So I started writing my own stuff. And when I started writing my own stuff, people, they wanted to be a part of the production because they felt like it was a good script, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
then it's kind of hard because, actors, a lot of, and not to take anything away from actors, but a lot of them want to work. They really, really want to work. So a lot of them, they'll be in some trash just to, put something on a resume. And I surely, I disagree with it because whatever you eat it's going to show your body of work. That's how I look at it. And
Yeah.
so if you eat trash, your body of work will be trash. And you want to put yourself in good pieces that showcase your talent. And I try to tell everybody I work with, make sure you pay attention to who you're with because you know what you put out there is going to be forever. And if you even if the production is bad and you have a good scene, you can always showcase your scene. But if your scene is bad, just leave it. It's not worth putting it together.
I agree.
I know I said a lot.
Yeah, from the actor's perspective, most of us, when we start out with student films. I've done a bunch of stuff for Colombia as well. Those were actually really good productions. So student
That's
films,
probably because you were part of it.
huh?
That's probably because you're a part of it.
Well, no, it was a good scripts, good productions. Some weren't, but for the most part they were, and they were good people. And actually, I think the biggest production that I was in was done by Columbia MFA program, and they had a huge crew of I think 30 plus people just on the crew side, and they had great locations. It was a time kind of period piece, which we're still waiting to come out. So Colombia is good, but a lot of the times you want to build up your resume so much, and that's the first thing that you get a chance to do as student films. So you take and take and take and take until you figure out, okay, yeah, that was crap. I don't want to do that again. So they
Yeah,
start
well,
out. Yeah.
I had a chance to talk to the students probably actually in 2014, I had a chance to talk to the students in 2017. And this
Mhm.
was on the heels of two of my films that were getting ready to go to theaters. So I told the students, because this is what they didn't tell us when we were there.
Hmm.
Since I was a cameraman, I love shooting. I should have linked up with a writer, linked
Yeah.
up with a director, and linked up with all types of crew that's around the school and create our production. That way, when we leave, we'll have a body of work that's uh, that's good enough to say this is my resume tape. And I tried to preach that to them, but they were, you know, it was somebody that was much bigger than me in the room at that time, and they want to know, well, how can we become a writer? And the best way to become a, and the problem with script writing is a lot of times it doesn't translate good on page. On page, you know, he's like, oh, I can't see that working, and then when you see on screen, this is exactly what you described on page. Exactly. You have to give it a chance. But if you're in school, you can actually grab another student that's you know he's a good cameraman. You know this person's a good editor. You know this person's a good director, and you can do the same thing that anybody else would do and put this stuff together. And everybody in that crew will have a body at work. The director will have a body. He'll have a piece. The editor will have something that's edited really great. The cameraman will have something that's shot, and the writer will have a piece say, all right, well, here's my script that I wrote when I was in college, and here's what it looked like after we shot it. And they're like, wow, you went to production. Yeah. And that's how Colombia should work, because Colombia does have classes. They have writing classes, they have lighting classes, they have camera classes, they have directing classes, but they don't make the classes work and coexist together. You know, the teachers should teach the classes up to the middle semester and then say, hey, now we're going to integrate with these other classes, and you got to work together. You have to build your own crew. You have to create your own production, and that's your final project, opposed to you having a person who writes and saying, all right, well, write your script, and now you got pages and pages stacked to the ceiling of nothing. Now you got an editor that just said, I really don't know how to shoot. Let me just take a whole bunch of clips with my phone and then cut them together. You got a cameraman that don't know how to edit and says, let me just shoot a whole bunch of stuff and then just dissolve them all together. So, you know, you make them, you make these students work together so they can become bigger in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, because again, everybody grows together, and that's the whole point. Doors are opening for somebody at some point in time. If you're working with the right people and you know that each other is good, then everybody kind of pulls each other up. That's how our industry is made. It's all on these connections that you grow together on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
No, but
I
that's.
don't know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was just, I love Columbia. I love Columbia College. I love it with all my heart. The things that I know I wouldn't know without Columbia College.
Right.
But I think they fall short with that particular thing, with not giving people the opportunity to grow together. Because everybody grow apart. They say have a resume tape when you leave, but if you're growing apart and you have all this talent that's all around the school that could work together, they could be bigger than everybody, and you can be pumping out. Columbia can be a machine to pump out talent throughout, and then you know the students will be coming back, throwing money back at the school, saying we want more people like us to come back, come into the real world. So I was a television major. Let's go back to Columbia. I was a television major, graduated TV production, no, TV post production, everything about post production, everything about production I know. But then I hate TV. I hated TV. I like because back then TV was about we're in the front room. That's it. We're in the front room of the kitchen. That's it. We're in the front room, kitchen, or bedroom. That's it. We're in the front room, kitchen, or maybe a doctor's office. That's it. But a movie it take you from the front room to the bedroom to the ocean to space. So it for me, film was more of an expanded expands your, I was almost say exaggeration, but expands your imagination. And being able to have your imagination go from 0 to 3,000 in 6 seconds. Television, I felt like your imagination was like from 0 to 10. And being able to say, all right, I'm about to step out the door and then you step into another dimension, that's movies. Television, you can do it, but then you don't have enough time to explain it because commercial breaks come.
Yeah. Yeah, well, now it's a little different with streaming and with other services that actually go there and allow you to do that. But I understand. I totally get it. Okay, so in terms of you being an independent filmmaker, because everything takes money, and you're one of the few people that actually pays his actors money, which actors really appreciate. It's nobody's going to see it anyway. So what, from your perspective, right? I mean, do you have a quote unquote regular job that funds these endeavors for you, or is this a full-time thing that earns enough money for you to continue doing it?
Well, I do have a full-time job, but I have side things that I do, like a notary signing agent. And also remember I told you about the movies that I have on, well, I can tell you I have movies on Amazon Prime. And thing with streaming, as you mentioned just now, streaming is the wave of the future.
Right.
Because with streaming, every time somebody watches the film, I get money. But if you say, for instance, you buy Sex Ain't Love as a DVD, it's $10 on Amazon. And you can watch it 101 times, and I get nothing but that $10.
True.
But Amazon Prime, you watch it 110 times, I'm still getting paid every time you watch it. And if you tell your friends to go on and watch it too, I'm still getting paid. So streaming it actually helps fund the project.
That's very nice.
Thankfully, it really helps. I have quite a few things on Amazon Prime.
Does that work the same? Because again, on Amazon Prime, I can rent it or I can buy it. So I'm assuming that if somebody buys it,
you can rent it, buy it, or stream it. Now, who's going to rent a movie 100 times? Nobody. But you might watch a movie over and over and over and over again if you can get it on Prime. Prime is different. And a lot of people they run head first into Netflix, and unless Netflix is giving you millions of dollars for your production, it's really not worth it, because Netflix says we're going to give you X amount of money to hold your movie and show it for 2 years, and that's it. You don't get nothing. People can say, "I saw your movie." 100,000 people can walk up to you and say, "I saw your movie," and whatever Netflix gave you for that movie at that particular time is what you get. You don't get nothing extra. On Amazon Prime, on the other hand, 100,000 people can stream your movie, and you still get paid. Or Amazon get their cut, but you also get your cut, which is pretty cool and pretty a nice way to stay afloat.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you kind of elaborating on that a little bit, because it's all reality of our business, and I want to make sure that people understand that.
Yeah, well, people don't understand that because at first when Netflix was created, well, when it came into existence, everybody was like, "Oh, it's for the independent filmmaker. They really care about us." And once Netflix got their hand into the pot of mainstream, it was like, "Oh, well, before you talk to me, you need to talk to somebody in between. You need to talk to a third party before you talk to me."
Yeah.
Like, wait, third party, but I thought you was cool. I'm still cool with you. I'll still give you that, but before you come in and holler at me about your movie or anything you're doing, make sure you talk to a third party. And then, matter of fact, you probably gonna have to pay that third party to talk to me. Really? And they might not even give you any money. They might not even let you talk to me. Really? So, but I'm gonna tell you this: you won't have to give them the whole money. They give you most of your money back, but keep the little money for just showing me your movie. I'm like, where am I winning here? I'm not winning. For Amazon, they say make sure everything's the right aspect ratio. Make sure you have captions. Make sure you have your right art. When you put your movie out, you can promote as much as you want, and people stream and they watch and they watch and they watch. And then Amazon is connected with IMDb, so a lot of times when you go to IMDb and look, trying to say, I wonder where this movie is. Oh, it's on Amazon Prime. Oh, right there. So, but Netflix, they may give you $10,000, they may give you $10 million, but if you're getting anywhere in the 5-figure range, it's not worth it, because at the end of the day, they'll stream your movie more than $10,000 worth of time. That's how I feel. And you'll just have that $10,000 and just be sitting on it.
And what about other platforms like Hulu, or who else is out there? I mean, now it's Apple TV. Now everybody kind of has their own.
They all work the same. They all work the same. Apple for music is different than Apple TV. So they lease your movie just like Netflix do. It's a better business for them, because if they can lease your movie for 2 years and they play as much as they want, that's golden. It's like, you getting rights to somebody's work and being able to show your viewers as much as you want to show them, while that person can stand up and say, hey, my stuff on HBO, but you're not getting paid. You're not getting anything. You already got paid. So, HBO has a subscriptions where people are paying them constantly. Because when you do the numbers and you say, oh, how many subscribers do Netflix have? They say 150 million. And then you say, how much is a Netflix account? $12 a month. So then you do the math, $12 times 150 million. Yeah. They only gave me $10,000. It's like, okay, my math is off. So you look at the subscribers for Amazon Prime, and it's 104 million, and you're streaming back and forth, and it depends on how many people you reach with your streaming. Like, if I'm able to translate my some of my work into Japanese, German, I can get more money. Yeah. So it's I guess people, they look at it as if when you're on Netflix, you made it. Really, no. No. When you're on any platform, you made it. So you made it when you're on Netflix, you made it when you're on Amazon, you made it when you're on YouTube, because that means your work is out there for people to see, opposed to just being as somebody told me, the cutting room floor. But we don't use that term anymore. I'd say on somebody's somebody's memory card or hard drive, sitting on their computer. That's the worst place to be. Yeah.
Never get seen. Absolutely. Yeah. So what's next for you? I know that you're doing Plight. What's coming up? And then what's the big dream? Where are you going towards?
Well, Plight is running towards This Ain't Pulp Fiction. But what's funny about that is, after seeing you perform live, I'm about to write this crazy piece with you in it.
It's true.
And I'm gonna give a little bit of the plot away. You have a friend that you need to take care of, and we just take it that far. But I write I have all these ideas in my head, and I can write on a dime. It doesn't matter if somebody called me and said, I need you to write the thing that you were talking about with Alan, the thing about Alan and having to take care of his friend. I can write it today. I can write it and be finished with it sometime by probably Saturday evening. I can write it, and I don't have to go back and say, oh, I need to change it or rewrite. It'll be finished. It might have typos, but it will be finished, because I don't really write. I don't write for myself. I write for an audience, and I write for what I feel like, not what I think, but what I feel like the audience would like and deserve. So the piece I'm talking about, that's what's really next. And Plight, the Independent Filmmaker, the movie, is after that, and then hopefully This Ain't Pulp Fiction will be following that.
Very cool. And what's the big dream?
My own plane.
Sure.
My own plane. That's it. And the thing is, when I say something like that, it's like, that's very materialistic. When you think about all the things you have to do and accomplish to get to your own plane,
right,
it's not materialistic at all. It's just one extra thing that I would have that I'm able to keep and maintain by myself. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well,
you know what? I take that back. One of the biggest dreams is to be able, now, this is after all the fame and everybody knows me. I want to be able to help somebody who do not know who I am, who absolutely knows nothing about me, knows no background on me. I want to help one person, like at least one person in my lifetime like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I hope you do that. I hope you get planes, trains, and on automobiles. But again, it's the fact that you brought me for one of your projects, and the fact that you're kind enough to write something else, doesn't change kind of what I felt about you before that all happened, which I thought you were very creative, very imaginative in the way that you're doing things, and I appreciated what you do from afar. Now I'm kind of a part of it, and it makes me feel really really good to be a part of it.
It touches me that you said that, and I appreciate you actually coming out and saying that. A lot of people wouldn't say it at all, and that makes me feel like I'm actually doing something right.
You are, and I again, full disclosure, just so people don't think that I'm doing this for money. The money that I got paid from Will by doing that episode, I paid a lot more out of it because I actually punctured my tire while I was driving to you. So I ended up having to change my tires after that. So, no, and this is not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm just saying that what I'm saying has nothing to do with money. What I'm saying is because I actually like the process. I like the writing. I like the idea. And for me, that's what makes it fun and interesting and want me to do more of it.
I appreciate it. And hopefully when you do this next project, I can get a car to pick you up so you don't have to worry about any car trouble.
No, well, listen, it depends on where it is, right? Because I have a little bit of a drive from the last location that we were shooting.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to make everything close to your house.
I'm okay with that. Hey, that's a win for me.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Will. I really appreciate it, and thanks to everybody for tuning in. We know you love acting as much as we do, and that's why we do this. Take care.